What's happening, you guys? This is your boy Afflicted Venom, and today I want to talk about the bright decision that not only Sony but Microsoft is making to no longer make games physically in 2028 anymore. And this decision is pretty much sending the internet into a frenzy. And companies are pretty much making fun of this decision. And that seems I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of humorous, the things that they're pretty much saying about this decision. And yes, I have checked on Nintendo to see if they're gonna follow suit with Microsoft and Sony as well. And it seems that they're doing the complete opposite. They'll still be making cartridges, I guess, for their games. So that's definitely a win for Nintendo fans. And listen, Microsoft, I obviously stated the obvious that they're still following suit with Sony, but they're gonna try this experimental, so it may or may not come true, of this concept called disc to digital. So we'll have to see how that works out. Anyways, let's get further into this discussion. It seems that this happened after the whole GTA 6 physical edition debacle, where instead of getting a disc inside a case or box, instead of getting a physical disc, you'll get a piece of paper with a code to digitally download the game. Which, you guessed it, you need internet connection to download this game. And I kind of wonder, aren't there still some people out there that don't have internet access? So how are they supposed to download this game if they don't have internet connection? But that's just me. What do I know? And I'm going to give my own personal experiences on when I bought physical copies and when I bought digital copies after that. So, about almost 7 years ago, and it just blows my mind when I mention the years that have gone by. But almost 7 years ago, I was clocking out of my retail job and I really wanted Modern Warfare 2019. And I decided, you know what? I'm just going to pick it up right then and there. Why not? That's the perks of working retail. I bought the game, yada, yada, yada. But after that, I just bought digital because why not? It's more convenient. It removes that extra step of having to go to the store, pick out the game, check it out, drive all the way home, and obviously download the game. However, here's the appeal of physical games. If you buy the game physically, it's yours. You can actually hold the game, you can hold the case, you can hold the disc, you can share it with a friend, and if you don't play the game anymore, you can just simply sell it, unlike digital games, where obviously you can't sell digital games. And it seems ironic too. This is the irony, the sad irony. So about a decade ago, before the PS4 came about, Sony was, I guess, firing shots to Microsoft on sharing games physically. And I think that's what helped them win that generation, is being able to share the game instead of having to prove that you own the game. Fast forward to today, it's like if you lose access to your account, even though the game itself digitally is downloaded onto your hard drive, there goes your game. There it goes, because that account that bought that game is tied. and you'll pretty much have to buy the game again. And you can't just copy the game digitally and give it to your friend because, again, your account is tied to that game. So if your friend's struggling, he can't come up with the money to buy the game and he really wants to play it on his own time, he can't do it. And that's the sad, unfortunate thing. And yes, I understand physical copies of games have their own cons. Everything does. Where digital, you don't really need to worry about your game getting scratched. You don't have to worry about your game accumulating physical space, even though I think digital games can get corrupted. And obviously, digital games can still take up hard drive space. Well, bro, even if you download the game that's on the physical edition, it's going to take up hard drive space. Yes, I get that. But it's still going to take up some type of space if you really think about it. And further diving into this whole digital games only thing, I want to bring up the YouTuber by the name of Halo Haley. I would suggest checking her content out. I subbed to her a little bit ago, just a day or two ago, and she makes some really good videos, so I would suggest watching her. And in her video about Sony destroying physical copies, like the idea of no longer having physical copies, she brings up in her video that God of War Ragnarok, which is almost 4 years old at this point, if you really think about it, she shows that that game is $70 on PSN, while the physical edition at some store is $40. And obviously, this isn't just about games, too. She illustrates that Sony is going to remove 500 movies from PSN because some deal or licensing deal has fallen through. So even though you bought the movie, right? You bought the movie, you paid full price for it. Sony decides, okay, if we're not going to carry this movie anymore, you can't have it. So pretty much you just threw your money into the wind at that point. And she also brings up streaming services aren't any better because if you rent the movie from the streaming service and buy, quote unquote, buy the game, or not the game, the movie digitally, it's going to cost more than just getting the movie physically. And I was taught when I was a little bit younger that convenience costs. I completely understand that. But just holy shit, the greed. And sorry for my stutter and everything, but it just blows my mind. And I'm starting to completely understand the statement of if buying my game slash movie means that I don't own it, then piracy is not stealing. I'm starting to understand that thought process now. If I don't own this media, right? And I don't think I can digitally download this game onto a USB or movie. Let's just talk about movies now. If I can't digitally download the movie onto my USB, even though I've paid full price, it's like, okay, I don't own it. What kind of logic is that? Anyways, this may sound contradictory. I know I may sound that I'm not fond of this decision, and I'm not, right? But I'm still going to be a gamer because that's what I've been doing since I was a young lad. And you know, I still have my PS2. I still have my Xbox 360. I have my PS4. And I just look at the physical copies of games that I have. You know, I can look at them, I can physically touch them, I can look at the collection that I've built up over time. And I just think about the future of gaming. I think of future gamers. If this decision becomes permanent, let's just say discs be gone for Sony and Microsoft. What's gaming going to be like for the future generations? Future generations are going to be like, wow, you guys had games on physical discs? Really? It's going to astound them. And the fact that they can't actually own these games, they can't sell these games if they're in a rut, or they just don't play them anymore. Would this make any other gamer be excited for the future of gaming? Who knows, man? Um, yeah, this this just doesn't sound like very good news. This doesn't seem appealing to someone that may or may not get into gaming. Because if you really think about it, not only this decision has a negative impact where Sony is pretty much getting ratioed right now. Just look at the prices of everything. Consoles are going to get even more expensive. Games are going to get even more expensive. GTA 6 is going to be $80 standard. And I've heard that Nintendo games are $80 too, so Rockstar is just following suit. And if GTA 6 does well, and I hope it does well, we've been waiting 10 plus years for this game. If it does well, then other companies can say, you know what, man? Let's take our games from $70 to $80. So this just, yeah, all in all, this just leaves a very sour taste in every gamer's mouth. But who knows? Maybe Sony and Microsoft will rethink their decision. Like, you know what? Let's still make physical games. But who knows? I wish I had a physical crystal ball to see into the future.